Yeah, I will. And additions or deletions.
What are we doing in the additions and deletions?
Kathy's,
Thank you. It still
or
is
Lisa's
opening.
asking it. I'd like to call the meeting to order. If you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Give me a second.
I'm going to have Tom take the roll. He was sworn in to be right deputy clerk last week, no?
Yes.
So when you're ready, can you take the roll call, please?
Second. I'm going to use a sec to keep myself straight. All right, thank you. Mrs. Vert,
Present.
Mrs. Pfaffadal,
Present.
Mrs. Anderson,
Present.
Mrs. Miller.
Here.
Mrs. Funk is medically out of the meeting this evening. She's in quarantine as per her doctor's orders. Mr. Klee, yes. And Ms. Campbell.
Present. So we have a quorum. Are there any additions or deletions to the evening's agenda? It was requested by some board members to postpone action item A to meet with legal counsel in a closed session. And so as soon as we can get that scheduled with legal counsel, we'll do that and we'll let the board members know when that will be scheduled. So we'll pull action item A off the agenda. Is there any other changes? No? We'll go on to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, I'd ask that you come to the podium and state your name, and you'll have 4 minutes to address the board.
William Newsom, it's good to see everybody be able to come back together, and I hope you're responding well, Karen, to your problem. I want to follow up a little bit on last meeting. There was a lady who came up here, and she talked a little bit about some blight problems, and that's been a big issue for me lately. I have an abandoned house next door. I've mentioned it a few times here. There's still nothing being done with that. I've requested mowing twice on it. I've set live traps. I've caught 3 possums, 3 raccoons, and 4 groundhogs, and all located in that property pretty much. I think it's time for the township to start look at some serious laws. Some changes have to be made so we can take care of some of this absentee landowners. What I did a search, this looks like this guy lives in California. He bought a bunch of houses online, and I've seen a couple people come to fix it up. They all find out it's so much money, I think they tell him, and he doesn't want to pay it, so it just sits there. And we try really hard in my little neighborhood. I mean, I try very hard, but sometimes you just want to give up. You got that thing staring at us the whole time. One of the potential systems I think could be in place, I reported it as needing mowing. Okay, it's not going to get better rest of the year. It's going to need mowing all the time. And it seems like there should be some kind of system where we could report an abandoned property that needs to be mowed, and it should be checked on 6 weeks later. So, I could call right now. It's 1.5 feet deep, but I haven't bothered. But it seems like something like that where we get a little bit more regular attention once it's been brought to the board. I don't know if there's any rules like that, but something like that just got to be done, or how we handle these people that don't care about it and they don't live here. My one concern is, I don't know if you can help, the front window's open and the door's open. And you probably know we had a pretty large incident over by Hogarth and Graham where I live on Friday and searching for a young man. And I'm glad that he did not notice that house was open and available. We might have had a problem there, and there has been homeless or have moved in the past for a few months or so before they were found out. So I don't know if any way the township can go over and seal the house, the doors and the windows. I don't know if that's legal, but we need to get it buttoned up a little bit. Would help a lot. I'm just saying, I'm trying really hard, but it gets. I got to get my knee replaced and stuff. So I'm working hard out there, but I look at that and sometimes I just want to give up. And I think I see it in more places than my neighborhood. It's not hard to find an abandoned house or some rundown property in the township. And I noticed, I was looking at the little budget, I don't think you have very much money budgeted for the code enforcement guys to go around and take care of that kind of stuff. Try to find a way to maybe improve that a little bit, but I just mostly see if we can get that bundled up a little bit and find out what we can do. We got to start thinking about that stuff, because like it or not, my own personal opinion is a lack of police ability in the city. The blight's coming down the road. It's coming down Corona Road. It's coming down Hogarth. It's coming, and it'd be nice if we had, the township had more ability to fight some of that stuff off. So I just wanted you to think about that.
Thank you, Bud.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Yes, my name is Michelle Betcher, Boettcher, speaking on behalf of my mom, Wilma Cupp, CUPP. The last township meeting, we were here on October 4th and brought the attention of a new build where there's been a continuous water problem. I did supply pictures and video to Karen Miller's email. The very next day, on October 5th, Stuart Worthing called my mother at 10 a.m. that morning with Karen Miller in the room, said they were going to fix the problem and put drains and run water to a sewer line. She told him that was okay. The very next day after that, on the 6th, the landscaping company next door came over again and threw some dirt, topsoil in there. And when she went out to discuss that with them, they said they were told by their boss at the landscaping company and Stuart to put the topsoil a little bit higher than hers so that her side was a little higher than the new build, and that did not fix the water issue. Today is the 18th. Haven't heard from him since. No work has been started there. She did call him today and left him a message, and he did not call her back or answer the phone call. We kind of would like to know where that stands because no work has been started yet there. And still the water is continually doing it. The topsoil's been thrown in there 4 times with grass seed, and it's still a continuing issue. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board? Anyone? No? We'll move on from public comment and we'll go to reports. I don't have a report this evening. Oh, excuse me. There we go. And Madam Clerk's not here. Did you want to have a report?
The only thing would be about the elections that we would
Go
talk about, no, that for later on. The, planning commission, no, I'm sorry, cancellation schedule.
Did you want to say anything about elections? No?
No, other
So-
than that meeting.
I'll speak if it's okay. We've had people come in the offices asking if there's an election, and there are no elections in Flint Township scheduled for this period of time. If there's going to be a ballot initiative throughout the county, we hear something like 3 or 4 months in advance. We haven't heard anything. But for the rest of this year, well, actually, we would know by now because the end of the year is in 2 months. So through the end of 2021, there won't be any elections in Flint Township, just to let everybody know. And then, Madam Treasurer, do you have a report for us this evening?
You want me to do the treasurer's report now? or-
Sure.
So we have the third quarterly report in your packet. We discussed, I think the last time, that we were going to move some of the accounts from the TCF Bank, which is now Huntington, over to Chase, because as it stands now, we're always transferring between the accounts. So this will make it a little bit more streamlined with the accounting practices in the accounting department. So you have the balances there. We have a total of $27,127,749.32. And I would ask that this be admitted into the minutes for review by the auditors.
Alrighty. Let's see, Treasurer's quarterly report. Do we have any trustee reports this evening? No?
Just a reminder that the trunk or treat is at Shea Automotive on October the 28th from 5:30 to 8:30. And in the Chevrolet Bay, we're going to do a little haunted trail. It'll be a drive-through, and we have several trunks that will be there that will be all decorated. We'll have a prize for the best decorated trunk. It's gonna be a good time, so we're still looking for some volunteers. I know Bud has already put his name in. He plans to volunteer, but if you know of anybody else, just please let us know.
Thank you. How about on this side? Any trustee report? No. Tom?
Other than, I don't know if I should, I was sworn in last week as the deputy clerk, and I will do my best to stay on top of all of the pieces that are necessary.
We'll keep you busy.
With you guys' back. As long as you guys got my back, I'm okay with this.
Alrighty. If there's no other reports, Madam Treasurer, number 7, payment of bills.
We did not have any bills for payment for this week, but we did have invoices and disbursements that were paid out as per our guidelines in the amount of $20,004,018.91. So I just want to make a motion to acknowledge the payment of those invoices and the disbursements that went out as far as the taxes.
So that's your motion?
Yes.
Is there a second to the treasurer's motion?
Support.
Any questions for the treasurer?
Can I use the documentation here in the board minutes to?
Yes.
Thank you, to reflect, so I'm not, all right.
Alrighty. Any other questions?
Getting there. Sorry.
I have to think of your title.
Tom.
Trustee Klee,
There you
can
go.
you do the roll call on the motion to acknowledge and pay the invoices and the total amount, and there's pass-throughs too, of $20,004,018.91.
Yes, starting with Ms. Pfaffdal,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes?
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Clee, yes, Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
and Ms. Vert.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0, one absent.
So, what am I doing
I
here?
don't have any correspondence to refer.
Okay, no correspondence or informational items. We'll go on to new business. We're breezing by action item A, action item B. Mrs. Tucker?
Action item B is the budget for the Flint Township DDA. They met on last week, the 14th, actually, and the board had extensive discussions regarding the budget in an attempt to retain a balanced budget due to the unpredicted decline in capture dollars due to Michigan tax tribunal decisions. Cuts must be made. The following items were reviewed: personnel expenses, health insurance increases, project expenses, the 12-year commitment to pay for road projects at $58,000 a year, the removal of expenditures for holiday decorations. There was discussion of possible sponsors, commitment of funds for events and advertising based on sponsorship, the public safety projects. And after extensive discussion, no one presented any other solutions for the budget. I myself reprinted the option 1 projections page with the changes made to reduce the projected income to $260,000 by the board. Passed it out for review and they voted. And what you have in your packet is the budget that they approved, the draft budget that they, I guess, recommend, because it goes, they do a recommendation, then it comes here. If you guys approve it, then it goes back to them for adoption. So this has the projected revenues of $270,065 with our cash reserves of $48,000 for a total of available resources of $318,401. Project expenditures for next year are proposed at $202,056. Operating costs of $72,187, with our loan repayment starting with their first principal payment next year. So the loan repayment, if you're looking at the numbers, jumps from $7,000 this year to $39,000 next year, and that's why that is such a jump. And so there are several pages here, and if you have any questions.
So I just want to insert here that if this was set in stone, I understand that we got to make cuts, but you and I had a conversation today with Peter and the possibility of being able to use some ARPA funds for some payments of these SADs. And then I know you also emailed Senator Annenick's office again today, and I don't know, what is that, 7-8 times? So I know that we've been pushing them for dollars. I know that by your persistence in us requesting funds that were granted to us for one of our road projects, they were going to give it to us last March 2020. COVID hit, They took it away. And we got news at our last board meeting that we did get the $200,000 granted to put toward Linden Creek Parkway. We're waiting, we're in a holding pattern until we hear from the state as whether or not we're gonna get any funds in their budget for these road projects that the DDA is gonna be responsible to pay the 25% of, right? So there's two sources of funds that we don't have an answer on right now, right?
Correct.
So I requested that Peter Goodstein, our attorney, when you and I were on the phone with him, put it in writing so that we can see what we can and cannot do with those funds. Because if there's dollars that we can use to help pay for the road project, that leaves more money in your budget, right? So, and that was only today. So with that in mind, you don't need to have your budget in place today, and it could wait probably a few more weeks, right?
Yeah.
So I know that your board's recommended this in light of the finances that they have, but I'm gonna make a motion that we postpone your budget until we hear some more definitive answers from the state. So that would be my motion, is to postpone this budget until we hear anything from Peter Goodstein on the ARPA funds or from the state of Michigan on, that'd be Jim Annick's office, on whether or not we're gonna get any dollars for the SAD projects that we've been doing. So that's my motion. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll support that.
Or any questions or discussion on that? And actually, I don't think there are any on postponing.
Can I,
Go ahead.
right, no, not on the postponement, I just wanna be, I wanna just, the $200,000, did that come out of DDA, or did the township pay that for Linden Creek Parkway?
Township.
So
It
that's
was
coming back
road
to the
millage.
township and it has nothing to do with that budget, right?
That's correct.
So we're just talking the ARPA
Right.
funds.
The ARPA funds, or Tracy's put a request in, and she also emailed the road commission just this afternoon, because Jim Annick's office asked you to check with the local road commission. So we're waiting to hear if there's gonna be any dollars for that. So, that would go to those road projects that are planned for the DDA to repay. So we don't have that answer yet. Could be zero, but there is a possibility that we could, use ARPA funds. So that would make a difference, and so would, last meeting at Roads and Bridges, they said that allocated dollars to the townships could be used for, SADs too. I mentioned that to Tracy, so there may be a possibility of more funds than this. If there weren't, this is what we would have to live with. But because there's possibly other funds available, I'd like to have us postpone this.
Yeah, and I'm in agreement with that, but I do want to caution us with ARPA funds, because we have not had any conversations really about, and so to put that so high up to say, this is what we're doing, when we had no conversations, or we've had them about sewer and water, we've had them about a lot of things, so.
There's just
We've
been some
already-
surface talk
yeah.
about that.
So
There's
we
been
need to
no
be very
decisions
careful
made.
about-
And I think that's gonna require, a special meeting for us to sit down and have agreement on what the direction this board wants to take with those funds. I agree with that. Except for any, contracts that this board will approve as a group that may be, using ARPA funds to pay, emergency responders, which we can use it for. That request will come through the, contracts that we approve. Other than that, any other dollars that are gonna be spent, whether we recoup loss or we're gonna put it toward a water project, this board will have to vote on. And I think we need to have a plan in general before we go start spending any.
Okay.
So I guarantee you that we'll be voting on that. So,
On the record,
um,
we're not.
Trustee Klee, can you take a roll call vote on postponing action item B, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Fafdahl,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Klee, yes. Campbell.
Yes.
Ms. Vert.
Yes.
601 absent.
Alrighty, action item C, Mrs. Tucker.
Question.
Oh, go ahead.
Do we need fire and police reports?
Oh, yeah, we could get around to doing that.
Would have been nice. Whoops.
Or tomorrow at noon?
Digging into the meat of the meeting here, but I apologize, I skipped staff reports. If you would please, Lieutenant Baldwin, give us an update in the police department. I apologize.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Barb.
In the last 2 weeks since the last board meeting, the police department has responded to 1,569 calls for service. We also made numerous business checks and residence checks throughout that time period. On the morning of the 4th, Flint Township Police Department, along with the Flint Township Fire Department, responded to the 5,000 block of Villa Lindy for a personal injury accident. An elderly woman parked in front of a doctor's office and accidentally stepped on the gas pedal instead of the brake pedal, driving through the front doors of the building, striking a patient who was waiting for their appointment as well. That person had suffered multiple broken bones, but was listed in stable condition and is recovering. The driver was really shaken up, and the fire department assisted in getting the building safe so the car could be extracted from the building. On the evening of October 12th, our officers observed a stolen vehicle that was on the hot sheet at a hotel on Austin Parkway. They attempted to make a traffic stop on that vehicle. It was a gray F-250, 3/4 ton pickup. It did not stop, but officers were unable to locate. I'm sorry, the vehicle did come to a stop about a mile away, and the driver fled. They were not able to locate the driver at that time. They did investigation, went to the hotel, reviewed videos, and actually recognized the driver. 3 nights later, we conducted a search warrant off of Graham Road, and were able to arrest that driver at a later date, on that date, 3 days later. On the 16th, I'm sorry, on the 15th, Carmen Ainsworth had their homecoming parade in the afternoon on Vance Lake between Bristol and Maple Avenue. The parade went well. There were no problems. And the following day, on October 16th, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, officers from Flint Township Police, as well as many other local departments, as well as the county and the state, responded to the Genesee Valley Center for shots fired. It's been highly publicized in the media. Officers arrived and found 2 people had been shot. They were taken to a local hospital by ambulance, and where they were in critical condition. One was released and then lodged in the Genesee County Jail. The second is still in critical condition at Hurley. And obviously a very stressful situation for all the officers and departments, as well as frequent that shopping center. And we were assisted by the state police, Genesee County Sheriff's Office, Clayton Township Metro Police Authority, Flint Police, and Argentine were the police departments that responded. And once again, the fire department assisted us in shutting down the parking lot at the mall by blocking entrances. And that concludes my report for this evening.
Were those victims kids?
They were adults.
Do you have a report for us, Assistant Chief Raleigh?
Yes, ma'am. Since the last meeting, the fire departments responded to 27 alarms, 2 of them which were structure fires in Sunridge. Luckily, with the quick response, we're both kept to minimum damage. Fire department's been busy with fire inspections, still trying to get out and hitting all the businesses we can. Like I said, last meeting this month is Fire Prevention Month, so as the weather changes, everyone please check your smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms, check the batteries in them. They both have a 10-year shelf life, so they have a date on the back of them, so check the dates along with it. The fire department does have both smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. If you need any, you can contact us and make an appointment. We can come out and install them for you. 810-732-4413. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Tucker, do you have a report for us this evening?
I have several items on the agenda, so we can
I do.
have a report for tonight, I think.
Alrighty. John, did you want to report from the Road Advisory Committee?
We really don't have anything.
No. We got an update on the projects.
What do you want me to give it?
Sure. If you would, please.
John Whiteside from the Road Advisory. We had our meeting this afternoon, and Mike Pfeiffer gave us an update on the road projects. Over on West Terrace and Hillside, they're doing culvert replacements. They got I think I reported last time, it looked like they were getting ready to start that. But they're doing the culverts there. Over on North Utley, they're doing patching work, getting ready to pave that. Down on Dorellen, they've put the top surface on, but Mike reported that I guess when, I think it was Consumers, when they did the catch basin area, when they did their gas lines, I guess they messed one of them up, so they're gonna have to go back and redo that, and Consumers will.
One of the driveways, yeah.
Yeah, one of the driveways, and Bailey is all done. That's about all I got. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna state, John goes to our Metro Alliance meetings with the county, and he's been keeping a close eye on the roundabout program. And as he's mentioned before, two of the areas that they're looking at replacing the intersection with a roundabout, one is at Beecher and Elms, and one is at Elms and Lennon. The third area was Diane Court, but we let them know that wasn't well received in the past, and they could probably take it off that list. So the next thing Mike also reported was the SAD projects that the ones at Taft, Lincor, Mansour, Neridia, and Holiday, they should be completed hopefully by the end of this month. And we are looking at working with the contractor. They are under contract to finish Austin Parkway this year, but I think that we'll have an agreement with them to probably pick it up next year, because I don't think they could have it completed by the completion date in the contract, but that's not formalized yet, but that's what we expect. Anyhow, most of that work should be done by the end of October. And this intersection south of Diane Corona, that driveway and the gutter pan and the edge of the road, that's a Consumers Energy project, and the engineer's working with the road commission on finalizing it and getting it out to bid and getting the work done. They're aiming to get it done while there's still time this season, so that's probably one of the last things we'll see. And I don't know how soon they're gonna finish the reconstruction over on Bristol Road over Swartz Creek. They're still in the middle of that. And I think, John, didn't they tell us that they resurfaced Mill Road and it's completed? That was a county-paid project. Alrighty, so again, I apologize for skipping over the staff. Yes?
I could provide an update on the project on Bristol Road if you'd like.
Oh, yes, please.
I did contact the road commission last week, and I was told that when they took the beams out from underneath half of the roadway and broke the concrete away, the beams were not in the kind of shape that they needed to feel like they could safely use them again. So the project is delayed. There's no construction going on there at this point, and they don't expect the beams to be delivered until sometime in November, and then they'll need to be retrofitted. And so this project could last well into the new year.
So it's a good idea to avoid Bristol Road just east of Linden, right, over the Swartz Creek?
Between
It was
Linden
pretty
and
smooth, except for around
I-69.
5, 6 o'clock, then it's like, yeah, but otherwise it does move along pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're traveling from Miller to Bristol and heading eastbound across Linden Road, there seems to be a large and a long wait, several light cycles.
Yeah.
Thanks, I didn't know that. I mean, that's a funded, road commission funded project. And, is it the steel they can't get? The steel
That's what they're
beams?
waiting on, yes,
Yeah.
the I-beams, I believe.
Okay. So again, I apologize for skipping over those reports. Usually, I have reports and I write it down, you know, clerk, supervisor, clerk, treasurer, trustee, staff, and I didn't have that down, I apologize. So now we move back to new business, action item D, Mrs. Tucker.
Okay, so the planning commission updated their bylaws. The only change to the bylaws that were originally done in 2008 was on page 2 of those bylaws. In your packet is page 18, under D. They just updated the quorum to say a majority of the appointed members of the planning commission. And then I would ask that if you make a motion to approve the bylaws, say as amended, because we will have to amend the date on the last page that I didn't do when I gave it to you. So it should say October, that they adopted them at the regular meeting on the 14th day of October of 2021.
That was
That still
13
has the
years
original
ago.
date.
A motion is in order to move forward, please.
Okay, where are we at? I don't have it.
Anderson moves that we accept the recommended changes in the planning commission bylaws as amended.
Is there a second to the motion? Support. Any questions or discussion? Anybody? Hearing none, roll call, please, Tom, on the amending the planning commission bylaws.
I, just so you know, I realized I didn't skip one like I should have, so now I'm gonna skip one and come right to you. Madam Supervisor.
Yes.
Mr. Klee, yes. Ms. Campbell.
Yes.
Ms. Vert.
Yes.
Ms. Fafdahl.
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Now I'm on right. 6.
So that passes. Now action item D, Ms. Tucker.
All right, so the next thing, as we have been looking at budget, the last time we looked at budgets and we had severe shortfalls, one of the easiest things to save dollars was to not hold board meetings where we pay members to attend unless they are required by law or they have applications or action items. When I was asked to put this together for the agenda, I just included all of the boards that get paid by the township. And I think there was some confusion about it, but it does say non-required meetings and meetings that do, and/or meetings that do not have paid applicants or projects that require action. Obviously, there are meetings that are required to be held by statute that would remain to be held. This is basically so we're not just having meetings to have meetings. So,
Motion is in order to move forward on this.
Klee would move that we accept, just to get us into, so that we can get into discussion.
The resolution on the cancellation of
Yes,
scheduled meetings. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? You wanted to say something, Trustee
Yes,
Klee?
if I may. Okay. And Tracy handled it beautifully. The Civil Service and Election Commissions should probably be pulled from this due to the fact that, but you, like you stated, if there's necessary and by statute that those meetings need to be held with the elections commissions, et cetera, with the civil service, if there's necessity to bring a name before or to look for a firefighter and or a police officer, we need to know that those two meetings can still be held at their appropriate time. So, and Tracy alluded to that very eloquently. So, as long as it states there, as we said, that as mandated or necessary, I'm good with this.
All righty, any other discussion?
Hope that didn't offend anyone.
No? Any?
Who was the second? I
Me.
missed it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm over here talking.
Can you
and
take
we're-
the roll call, please, Tom?
I surely
On
can.
approving the resolution for the cancellation of scheduled calendar meetings.
Mr. Klee, yes. Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Ms. Vert,
Yes.
Ms. Pfaff-Dahl,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I was sitting there waiting for somebody to call her name.
So that passes. We'll go on to action item E. Mrs. Tucker?
Okay, I have, this first one is for Holiday Drive. These are just to get the approval of the board to, approve the loans for repayment of the construction projects. There's actually, I believe, we have 4 on the agenda. Holiday Drive, while we're doing it right now, this probably will not, the loan will not actually be active until probably the beginning of the year, because we have not received final bills on that, because they're still working on it. So, but we just wanted to have everything in place so that when the bills do come in, we can start getting them taken care of. So the first one is for Holiday Drive, and it would be a loan from the Sewer and Water Fund with 3% interest that would be paid back to the Sewer and Water Fund from the SAD. And in this case, Beach Road CIA and Flint Township if need be, if we don't get any state funds or federal funds.
And we have the bill sitting on the controller's office, waiting for a check request. So anyone want to make a motion?
The first bill is included in their packet. That's in their packet.
Thank you. Anybody?
I'm sorry, I missed it. Who did?
Wait, nobody's made a motion yet. We
Oh,
need one.
I'm sitting here
Move
writing.
forward. Holiday.
Anderson moves that we accept the loan payment for Holiday Drive. Is that it?
You can just make a motion to approve the resolution in your packet if
Okay.
you want. That's
Holiday.
probably the easiest way, because it's
Yes.
all written out the way Kevin needed it.
Thank you.
Is there a second to the motion?
Support.
Any questions or discussion? So I'm gonna read the resolution just for clarity. It's the motion to approve the loan of the cost of the Holiday Drive project from Sewer and Water Fund at 3% interest to appropriate budgetary line item as determined by the controller and Plant Moran. So, if there's no further questions, can you take the roll call, Tom, please?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
Ms. Vert,
Yes.
Ms. Carol Pfaff-Dahl,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes,
Mr. Cleve. Yes.
thank you. Action item F, Mrs. Tucker.
Patience with-
Okay. This would be a loan to pay for the reconstruction project at Lincoln Taft Mansewer. The Flint Township DDA and the parcel holders in the Special Assessment District will pay this back over 12 years. The Sewer and Water Fund will charge 3% interest on the loan. The funds will be borrowed in increments as we are billed by the Genesee County Road Commission. The first payment of $550,164.65 is the one that's due now, and with an estimated overall cost of $1,135,000. The township DDA is paying $283,750 of that. The road commission is paying $283,000. That got us down to the 1.1 million. And the $851,250 is the remainder. It is being paid through the SAD by the landowners. So the resolution would be a motion to approve the loan of the cost of the Lincoln Taft Mansewer project from Sewer and Water Fund at 3% interest to appropriate budgetary line item as determined by the controller and Plant Moran.
Thank you. Does someone want to make that motion?
Cleve would move
To do so, yeah?
that we would, to approve the motion to approve the loan of the cost of the Lincoln Taft Mansewer project from the Sewer and Water at 3% per Tracy's statements, determined by the controller and Plant Moran.
Is there a second to the motion?
Anderson supports.
Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Mr. Deputy Clerk, would you please take the roll call?
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Vert,
Yes.
Ms. Faftall,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson.
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Klee, yes. Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
motion passes, like you stated.
Next is action item G, Mrs. Tucker.
This would be the loan to pay for the reconstruction project at Neridia. The Flint Township DDA and the parcel holders in the Special Assessment District will pay this back over 12 years. The Sewer and Water Fund will charge 3% interest on the loan. The funds will be borrowed in increments as we are billed by Genesee County Road Commission. The first payment will be $60,453.65 with the estimated overall cost of $152,000, with $38,000 of that coming from the Flint Township DDA, and the balance of $114,000 being paid by the parcel holders. The motion that we would like, the resolution that we would like approval of would be a motion to approve the loan of the cost of the Neridia project from the Sewer and Water Fund at 3% interest to the appropriate budgetary line item as determined by the controller and Plant Moran.
Is there a motion on that?
Anderson moves.
The resolution?
Resolution, yes.
Is there a second to the motion? Any further discussion? Do you have a question?
No, she was helping me.
That's helping Tom.
She was helping me out. Thank you.
Mr. Deputy Clerk, would you please do the roll call?
See where I'm at, just a second. I think I did Barb last, didn't
I think so.
I? Okay. Ms. Faftall,
Yes.
Ms. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Klee, yes. Ms. Campbell,
Yes.
and Ms. Vert.
Yes.
Thank you.
Action item H, Mrs. Tucker.
Okay, this would be the loan to pay for the reconstruction project for Austin's Parkway. The Flint Township DDA and the parcel holders in the Special Assessment District will pay this back over 12 years. The Sewer and Water Fund will charge 3% interest on the loan. The funds will be borrowed in increments as we are billed by Genesee County Road Commission. The first payment will be $276,371 with an estimated overall cost of $608,016.20. The Flint Township DDA will pay the $152,004.05. The balance will be paid by the parcel holders of $456,012.15. The resolution that we would like approved would be the motion to approve the loan of the cost of the Austin's Parkway project from the Sewer and Water Fund at 3% interest to the appropriate budgetary line item as determined by the controller and Plant Moran. I would also note that this project will start in the spring, so there will be no funds taken out for the loan, I don't believe, until the spring. But we just wanted to have everything in place, so then once it happens, we already have the paperwork done. We figured we'd do it now while we got everything going on.
Thank you. Does someone want to make the motion?
I make a motion that we accept the resolution for the Austin Parkway project.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any further discussion?
I had written here, a question on next year, and we were just
Answered.
talking about that, and it's answered, so no funds until next year. I'm good with that.
Okay.
And I will gladly do
Roll
as you
call,
ask.
please.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Anderson? Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Sorry. Miss Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Klee? Yes. Miss Campbell?
Yes.
Mrs. Vert?
Yes.
Mrs. Faftall?
Yes.
Motion is 6-0 with one absent.
Thank you. One more, Tracy. Action item I, please.
Okay, before we move to that, is Kevin gonna need us to do a motion to pay those first bills? Or, I mean, they were in with the resolution approving the funds, right? So I think we're okay.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right.
All right, okay. All right, so one more item for me, and then I'll be quiet. The Professional Auto Body at 6307 Corona Road. They've been there about 20 years. They're on the property, as I said, 6307 Corona Road. They made petition to the Planning Commission to get their property rezoned completely. Right now, a portion of it is zoned C2 with a special land use permit for C3 use, and the remainder of the property is zoned R1B. They own the property to the south and the east of them, and when we held the public hearing, there was no other public came to comment on the change. This is just the first reading. There's no action that needs to be taken this evening. This will, the clerk's office will need to post it in the paper for the first reading, and then it'll come back at the next meeting for you to take action on. This was recommended by the Planning Commission. There were no dissenting votes on it, and they recommended approval. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah.
You also stated, just so I'd like to make sure that we put that up there in case anybody had a question, neighbors don't have a problem at all. Gotcha. Neighbors all at the meeting had no problems.
And we've never had any complaints about his business from any of the neighbors, which is always a good sign.
So the second reading will come to our next meeting on November 1st,
Yeah.
which is the announcement, one of the announcements is that our next township board meeting will be November 1st. And I'm going to need all the trustees to give me some times and dates that you might be available to even do an electronic meeting to discuss the action item we postponed, action item A, with our attorney to do a closed session. So let me know your availability over the next 7 days, please. And for the record, we are planning to have a special meeting for a budget workshop at the end of October, which means hopefully we'll have a draft of our budget for 2022 in the packets that are handed out November 1st. And at that meeting, we'll have to set a public hearing for the appropriations resolution on public hearing, and approving the budget would be November 15th if everything goes according to plan. So that's sort of the schedule. And don't hesitate to let me know your schedules. And if there's no further business and without objection, we'll call the meeting adjourned.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey. She's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.